is talked about by a guy named Michael Drew. Now, Michael Drew is a literary agent who has had 80 plus consecutive bestsellers on the New York Times list. That's major. That's major. He kind of has the grasp of society and the grasp of what people want and what people are buying. And he wrote a book. His book is called Pendulum. And in this book, he and his partner researched human nature for the last 3,000 years. And what they found is that there's a pendulum shift that occurs every 40 years, that we change as human beings and as society. And that's that society shifts from 40 years focusing on me. I'm so great, I'm going to do everything, I can change the world by myself. And then, after doing that for enough time to realize, that's kind of hard by myself, then it shifts to 40 years focusing on we. We can do this together, let's join together, let's all come together and make this happen. And then we get tired of the group, and we go back to the me. So where are we right now? Right now, we're on a we, exactly. Right now, we are in year, I think, 15 or 12, year 12 in the we cycle. Started in 2003. And the way Michael Drew explains it is that in this 40-year time period, the first 10 years is the transition time, transitioning from me to we. Then the next 20 years is deep into that concept. And on our concept of we, when Michael Drew talks about it, the word he uses most is authenticity. So that's the society shift that we're now stepping into in a real heavy, deep way, that authenticity is critical. Society's asking for it. The baby boomers are saying, you know, we lived our life and the me and it didn't work, so we need to pull this we together. How do I find me after I did all the stuff for the corporation and now I want to move forward? Anybody in that position? You know, whereas the millenniums are like, I don't like the way you guys got this society hooked up. I can't do what I want to do. I want to self-actualize. I was here to do something. So they've taken Maslow's theory, which some of you may know, where he talks about self-actualization. We all want shelter and food first, and self-actualization last. The younger kids now have reversed that. They want self-actualization first. They're more concerned with that than they are with shelter. So both sides, ages, both generations are focused on authenticity. It's time for that right now. Now, authenticity is also talked about in corporate America. There's lots of literature about authentic leadership. And these are written by people who are pretty much in ivory towers. They're academicians. So you'll get a lot from people from Harvard, a guy named Bill George, also two people named Gilmore and Pines. Gilmore and Pines wrote a book that came out in 2008. And that book was called Authenticity, What Consumers Want in the 21st Century. And from a corporate perspective, what he said is that corporations that are becoming very successful now are companies that are having more authenticity in their environment. So he referred to Starbucks, for example, as one of the first companies that offered authenticity. And by that, what they talked about was that when you go into Starbucks, it's just not a cup of coffee, it's an experience. You might have poets speaking, you might meet with somebody, you're doing different things. It's activities. He talked about American Girl Store. If you know about American Girl Store, you can take your daughter or granddaughter there, and they come and they pick a doll that looks just like them. And they get to pick all the decorations all the way to make the daughter up, make up the doll so that it becomes a replica of who they are. It's an experience. They talked about Disney and how Disneyland and Disney World draw you in. They open their stores. The store is bombed because the stores were not an experience. It was just a store, like any other store. So the idea of experience is really important now. And what they're talking about in terms of authentic leadership is that what authentic leadership is about, the foundation of it, is self-awareness and knowing oneself.